Duke asked, "Who is she, and why is she here at this hour? Is she an intruder?" Serenity thought she is a 20-year-old, the only branded daughter of Viscount Afano, the life of an enviable nobleman. It would have been nice if she had lived it. Just work hard because she has to feed her family. Her grandfather, who was the previous head of the family, squandered his fortune during his lifetime. What little is left was taken by her uncle, the current head of the family, so they got kicked out of their family home. She settled down in the Laurent estate. It was fun. Her mom was such a talented person. But the sick mother passed away without even having her coming-of-age ceremony. After that, a father who is giving money to those around him, without even thinking about the family situation. To feed her younger brother, who attends the night academy, she had to keep working. She really did everything she could, so if he asks her what she wants to talk about now, she is just a girl who lives hard. Even back then, she just worked hard. Came home from work, bed calling her, go home and have fun, changing her clothes. She is going to sleep, but before that, Ray's dinner comes first. Then she heard someone is fighting. An elder man stated he doesn't have it right now. The other person who looks so beautiful shouted he will rip his mouth off. Serenity shouted, "That idiot! What is he doing to a weak old man? She doesn't know what's going on, but can he say it?" The elder man asked if she will protect her. Serenity replied, "Yes, just stay behind her back. Even though she is like this, she is the older sister of the future commander of the Imperial Knight. She received special training and swordsmanship from him every day. She even beat most people up like him." The other person shouted at the elder man to give it to him. Serenity shouted. She told him to stop, and hit him. Suddenly, that person disappeared. Serenity was shocked. Is he gone? The elder man started laughing and said she is cursed, having defeated the good fairy and saved the evil spirit. The day the Sigma is completed, she will be consumed by the curse. That person also disappeared. Serenity thought, what does he mean, a curse? 2 people disappeared right before her eyes. Is she dreaming? Why is the back of her hand suddenly like this? What the hell is this? Is this a curse? What is this curse to stop an attack on an elderly person? Does this make sense? That is unfair to be cursed like that. Now, back in present time, Duke asked, will he say it again? What is he doing here? Serenity was frightened. Is she going to be fired by the Lord? It seems like the word is giving her too much trouble. No, calm down. She will explain it step by step. He might be able to skip it. Serenity introduced herself, then stated they have been working as librarians in this library for a month. Duke spoke. He guessed that's not what he asked. Serenity apologized. She just stayed and read this book. She didn't know that so much time had passed. Duke asked if she was saying she read a book that is now banned. Serenity stated, what is banned? Duke told her it is a book that is prohibited from being read by the general public. The book's name was Various Ways to Break Various Curses. Duke continued that he never allowed someone like her to use the library until now. If she had any reason, please explain. Serenity thought she is going to die. Now, what has happened to her? Then she stated, Sir, she didn't know this was a banned book. She just saw that it was in the return box. She only read it because the title was interesting. If she had known it was banned, she wouldn't have touched it. She apologizes. Duke stated, let's just move on for now, but he hopes he will never see her in the library again. Duke told his knight not to let him see that girl again. Serenity thought if he was saying he is going to fire her now. Serenity shouted, wait, both of them thought moment, and the knight tried to defend Duke. The next moment, Serenity was on her knees, saying, Your Grace, the merciful and great Duke, the greatest Duke of the Empire. Her rabbit-like brother was waiting for her at home. Her father doesn't play the role of the breadwinner, so she has to feed her family. Duke asked, So what? Serenity replied she swears this will never happen again, so please just once. Duke stated, Gilly, why don't he clean it up quickly? Serenity grabbed the Duke and asked him to please listen to her story for a little. The curse mark lightened. Duke pushed her away. Serenity felt the pain in her hand. Duke asked if she was hurt. Serenity replied. No. It's okay, Duke stated, then take her away right now. Then, after some time, Duke asked if she had gone. Gilly replied, yes, she just left after being frustrated for a while. Duke spoke about Serenity, the librarian who had been working there for a month, to find out everything he can, especially about her abilities. Gilly asked if that woman had any powers. He didn't feel anything. Duke replied, clearly, she had strong divine power. At first, he thought it was Abel who came. Gilly was shocked and said, is that true? It's so incredible that Duke could mistake it for Master Abel. Duke thought, such tremendous power. The moment he got close to her, it disappeared. Is she hiding abilities? What on earth is she? Suddenly, the book started shining. The Duke said, what is happening? The next moment, the book disappeared. Duke stated, oh, look at this. On the other hand, Serenity thought she was done. She was criticized for paying her rent late this month too. If she gets fired from the library, what happens next month? What about her father's debt? Living expenses this month? Will she ever get a job like this again? She kept trying hard to live. Curses, even his grace. That's right. It's because of this curse that she is in this state. Serenity was shocked. It's gone. The curse has been lifted. But how? Since when did it disappear? Of course, until she met his grace. Does it have anything to do with the Duke? Various ways to break various curses. In that useless book that the Duke has taken, there is just one sentence. If there is a power of someone stronger than the one who placed the curse, the time at which the curse is activated can be delayed. This is it. If he is stronger than that evil spirit, whatever, she thought he might be a wizard. So, is the Duke stronger than the evil spirit? There are two powerful ducal families here in the Empire. Among them, Aaron was born into the Duchy of Laurent. He was the second son who was behind in the succession ranking. Nevertheless, after the previous Duke passed away, he proudly ascended to the position of Duke. He was widely recognized for his powerful magical abilities early on. Now he is called the best magic swordsman in the Empire. She is just going to chew up evil spirits. By the way, the back of her hand seemed to hurt. Was it because it was erased? Then really, the curse disappeared next to the Duke. The curse is solved. Well, come to think of it, even in the library, she is fired. That's not what he said. Then she just has to be quiet when the Duke comes out to inspect. The next morning, Reynard asked if his sister is okay. Serenity replied, did he sleep well? Then thought, is the curse gone in just one day? Because it returned in just one day. Well, even after seeing that in the book, which is written that if she can delay the time when the curse is activated, she was a fool to think the curse had been gone. Serenity stated she is going to stop by the temple after work today. Then she thought she can't go to a wizard anyway because it's expensive, and then tell him she just feels sore these days. Since she doesn't think she is having much luck, she is going to have an evening mass. Serenity thought if he is a priest, he probably knows a lot about curses. She should go to mass this weekend. Reynard stated he apologizes, sister, because weekends won't help anymore, so from now on, he will work too. Serenity tells him to just focus on the academy and take a good rest on the weekend. Next year, they will also have a coming-of-age ceremony. It will be a great article. Reynard tries to speak, but Serenity cuts his sentence and says she just wants to go to the temple to freshen up her mood. It would be nice to get some divine energy from the royal family. He prays that her younger brother will become the best knight in the empire. Don't worry, she won't forget. Reynard replies, thanks, sister. Serenity thought she needs to break that curse quickly, so she doesn't make Reynard worry anymore. She is also scared that this curse might affect people around her. First, she should go to the temple and ask if there is a way because priests are people who use the powers of God. Then, after some time, the priest stated fortunately it is a symbol he knows, but unfortunately, he will have to do some more research to find out. If he can't break this curse, she will die within a year. Serenity stated that she will die. The priest replied, yes, unless the one who cursed her lifts it. However, the aura of this curse is unlike any ordinary one. How did she end up with this brand? Serenity told him the whole story. The priest asked if she was sure. He said that she was cursed, and not that he was cursing her. That means it was not the evil spirit, but the fairy that vanished cursed her. Serenity asked, "Do fairies even curse people?" Priest replied he have never heard of such a thing. In fact, this is the first time he have heard of an ordinary person encountering a fairy. Normal curses people are familiar with are often illusions cast by ghosts or mages, but fairies, also called spits, are divine beings that inhabit the root of all things. So, if these spirits also inhabit negative concepts like curses or malice, that would mean they are capable of casting curses. Serenity then said, "Then is she really going to die?" The priest replied, "There is still much unknown about fairies. There must be a solution they don't yet know about. Have she noticed anything unusual since she got the brand?" Serenity stated the mark disappeared for a day after she met the Duke. The priest stated, "The Duke does possess magical power. To understand the exact reason or effect, she will have to stay close to him and monitor for any changes." Serenity asked, "But how could someone like her stay close to the Duke?" The priest replied, "Don't worry, he have something that might help, in return for the note or the job conditions, and this is a letter of recommendation. He heard that House Lorang is looking for an attendant who will serve Lady Alay, the Duke's mother. The Duke is famous for being a doting son. If she become her attendant, she will get to see him." Shocked, Serenity thought about becoming an attendant at the castle. She had never been an attendant before, and Reynard barely talks to her father, so if she leaves them alone, they will be gone. Most importantly, the Duke is terrifying. There is no guarantee that being by his side will help lift the curse. Serenity thought about this feeling, and suddenly they both hit each other. Duke asked her again, and Serenity was frightened. Then she thought, was today the day he was supposed to visit? Serenity apologized. "It wasn't intentional. Please don't fire me." Duke thought, is apologizing this woman's habit? He was only watching her to see if she did anything suspicious again. Then Duke stated, "Get up." Serenity continued, he can find it in his heart to forgive her. Duke spoke, he said, "Get up." Then he saw Serenity's lips were bleeding. Duke gave her a handkerchief, he stated, "Don't get blood on the books, wipe her mouth." Serenity replied, "Thank you." Duke thought, is he that intimidating, or does she actually have something to hide? Serenity spoke, "She will wash it and return it to him." Duke replied, "Don't bother." After that, other girls came and asked if she was all right. Serenity asked, do they think she will be fired? The girls told her, no, they doubt it. As long as she does her job, Duke hardly cares. Besides, he didn't say anything just now. Serenity thought, what a relief. And what about the curse? As expected, it's gone. She guesses the brand really does appear when she is with him. So if she does it every day, will it disappear every day? In the next scene, Gilly was laughing. Duke told her, don't laugh. Gilly replied, he didn't laugh. Then he started laughing again. Duke hit at his foot. Then Gilly spoke, all right, he will stop. After that, Gilly stated, anyhow, he thinks there is indeed something suspicious about Serenity. Duke asked, why did he find something? Gilly replied, as per his order to investigate her, he had Roy follow her. And as Duke knows how nimble Roy is, but he apparently lost Miss Serenity while following her. Duke asked, what? Roy is the Empire's best spy. How could he lose a civilian while tailing her? Gilly replied, well, he says it was a mistake, but he is certain she is not just an ordinary librarian. Duke stated, she has divine powers, but hasn't registered as a gifted individual or joined a mages guild. Tell Roy if he loses her again, he will have to go through intense training. On the other hand, Serenity thought, she will prepare the dough tonight and bake scones in the morning. Come to take tomorrow marks 3 days since she got the job offer as an attendant. What should she tell the priest? She needs to do whatever it takes to break this curse. Suddenly, Serenity saw a wild horse coming toward a little girl. Serenity thought she is going to get hit. Serenity shouted, watch out, and pushed the girl away. She is frightened. The next moment, a person pushed her away. Serenity thought, that voice just now, could it be? That was Reynard. Serenity shouted her brother's name. She held him and stated, please wake up, this is all her fault. Suddenly, the horse came again towards them. Duke came and used his magic on the horse. Now, the horse is in stable condition. Duke asked, is she all right? Serenity replied, Reynard got hurt instead of her. Duke thought, she is not in her right mind, then told her to move aside and pick up Reynard. Serenity asked, where is he taking her brother? Duke replied, he needs medical attention. We are going to his castle. In the next scene, Abel came out of the room and stated, he has done all he can. Let a doctor handle the rest. Duke asked, how is he? Abel replied, he is stable now, so he should be fine if he follows the doctor's orders. Duke asked, don't he have something else to tell him? This changes things. He can't just overlook it now. Abel replied, whatever do he mean? Duke stated, just as he can feel his magic, they both know that he can feel Abel's divine power. The divine power sensed from him is of the highest level in the empire. Just look at how he saved that dying young man. How long did he think he could keep this power hidden? Abel replied, why couldn't he just keep pretending not to know? Honestly, Aaron, people will make a fuss if they find out, and he doesn't want that, as he knows. He has no interest in obtaining a title or the throne. Aaron stated, it's impossible to keep hiding it anyway. Abel replied, for the time being, let it remain their secret. Aaron thought Abel, the kind and soft-hearted third son of the farmer Duke, who doesn't like getting involved in power struggles, and seems he is not ready yet, so he will wait, but he is smart, responsible, and kind. When the time is right, he will have Abel succeed him as Duke, and retire to the countryside to farm with mother. Abel stated if he doesn't have anything more to say, he will take his leave. Duke said, well done. Abel replied he will come running whenever he needs him, then thought he can't believe Aaron gave him a compliment. After some time, Reynard opened his eyes. Serenity stated, he is awake. She thought the worst would happen to him. Reynard spoke, don't cry, sister, he is fine. Serenity asked, why did he do that? It would have been better if she got hurt. Does he know how scared she was? Reynard replied, but he is tougher than she is. He apologizes for worrying her. By the way, where are they? Serenity replied, they are in an annex wing of the Lorang castle. The Duke brought him here. Reynard asked, who was the person who stayed by his side the whole night? Serenity replied, the doctor visited, of course. Reynard replied, he doesn't think it was a doctor. He sensed an incredibly mystical and warm light. It felt like a god had come to save him. Serenity thought, if it wasn't a doctor, come to think of it, she was told the Empire's best healer was here. Unlike doctors, healers use healing power, and whoever it was must have been extremely expensive. How are they going to repay this? She should go and offer her thanks to the Duke. But whose room is this? It's too luxurious for a guest room. It can't be the Duke's room since it's in the annex wing. The size suggests it belongs to a direct family member. Serenity thought, is he a noble? Abel spoke, hello. Serenity was shocked, the fairy. Is he really that fairy from back then? Is she seeing him right? Where did he go in that split second? He is already over there. Serenity was running toward him, stating, wait, fairy. Then she thought, no, this is not happening. Why is this curse so effective? Is she really going to die? Abel stated, is she all right? Serenity asked if she is alive. Abel replied, it seems so. She don't appear to be injured. By the way, why is she calling him now? He has been called an angel before but never a fairy. Duke came and stated, what's all this noise? He heard a scream and thought an assassin had appeared. When did they both become close enough to embrace in the middle of the staircase? Abel replied, don't misunderstand. Aaron, he was merely helping her. She nearly fell down the stairs. It appears she is a guest of his brother. He apologizes for the late introduction. He is the third son of the Lorang family, Abel Vondel Lorang Suver. Serenity was shocked and thought, so he is not a fairy. What's going on? Then she asked, so he really is not a fairy? Abel replied, he is an ordinary human. Serenity thought, but they look exactly the same. Is she mistaken? How could there be two faces like that? Duke asked, a fairy? Isn't that line too childish to seduce someone? Abel wouldn't fall for something like that. She will do well to break the habit of flirting with someone just for their looks. Serenity shouted. That's not what she was doing. She wholeheartedly despises fairies. Suddenly, Duke smiled and stated, she looks like a wild boar just now. The next moment, Duke felt the pain and thought, his heart, why is this happening all of a sudden? Then he stated, it's nothing. He is fine, so go take care of her business. He is leaving. Serenity thought, why did he act like that all of a sudden? Duke thought the pain is finally subsiding a bit. This has never happened before. What could be the problem? Could it be because of that woman? No. She didn't seem suspicious. Instead of being speechless, she was more like a wild boar. Then why did she bring up fairies out of the blue? Colt, that child at that time would be a fairy. He wondered if she will come to this year's hunt. The next scene, Serenity thought she haven't seen the Duke since then. She should express her gratitude before leaving. She hopes he is not unwell. Suddenly, Serenity thought, what's all this noise? Did something happen? A maid bumped into her while saying, please step aside. Serenity thought, what's going on? She saw the maid stating, Madam, stay with her. Serenity thought she is having a seizure. Serenity shouted, wait. She should not apply pressure like that. On the other hand, Duke asked, where is the doctor? Is he on his way? The person replied, yes, probably on his way right now. Serenity took care of Alay, and suddenly Duke felt the divine power. Abel also felt the divine power. Serenity thought, thank goodness, the seizure seems to have stopped. Her diverse work experience really came in handy this time. Alay opened her eyes, and Serenity asked, Madam, is she all right? Suddenly, Duke came and stated, move away. Serenity thought, what is his problem? She was just trying to help her. Why is he treating her like some thug? Duke stated, Mother, is she all right? Serenity thought she is the mother of Duke, Madame Alay, the second wife of the former Duke. Alay stated she is perfectly fine. It has been a long time since her head has felt this clear. It seems she has this young lady to thank. Serenity tried to reply that she was just, but Duke cut his sentence and asked what she was doing here. Serenity thought, did she do something rude to Madam? Did she touch her or upset him? But she was trying to help. Then she stated she was on her way to thank him before returning home. She heard the commotion and saw that Madam. Duke cut his sentence again and stated, all right, she can leave now. Madam said, don't be so rude to someone who helped her. Thanks to the young lady. She heard from a maid that someone was visiting for her brother's treatment. It must have been her. She hopes they can meet again. Then, after some time, Duke asked if he used his divine power to heal Mother. Abel replied, of course not. He knows that he has been hiding his abilities. Duke thought Mother's seizures have always been unexplained and untreatable. They have never subsided this easily. Abel stated he has, in fact, secretly tried using his sacred powers on her a few times, but it didn't do much. Where did he find such a special guest? Duke replied he suspected she might be an assassin. Abel replied, goodness, he doubts that, in fact, she might be an angel or maybe a fairy. Duke said, a fairy? How absurd. The next day, Serenity thought the Duke prepared a carriage for her to take her home. He also loaded it with gifts to show his appreciation. She thought he was angry. He is a bit, no, actually, incredibly intimidating. But he saved Reynard and her, then even gave her gifts. He seems like a nice person. She will treasure them and use them sparingly. Then, after some time, her father, talking about that coat and those cosmetics, their neighbor's daughter is getting married, so he gave them to her as a gift. It was early yesterday when she was just a little girl, yet she is getting married already. But she said those things were very expensive. Serenity thought she is sick of this. Her father continued that she never really uses such luxurious items anyway. So isn't this nice? She is like a sister to her. He told them that it was from Serenity, so don't worry. Reynard shouted, Father, did he give away Serenity's things without her permission again? Eat her money before too, claiming it was for an investment. Father asked why is he getting angry all of a sudden. Serenity stated, Don't bother, Reynard. Then she thought she is so tired of all this, working non-stop to pay off debt, and having her father who never gets tired of giving their things away, she can't take it anymore. Serenity stated she is going to become an attendant at the Lorang Castle. Reynard asked, An attendant at the Lorang Castle? What is she talking about all of a sudden? Serenity replied, A few days ago, a priest offered her a job. The pay is much better, although she won't be able to come home often. She has been contemplating since she got the offer, and she thinks accepting is the right decision. So, she's going to see him now and tell him she accepts the offer. Reynard stated if that's what she thinks, he understands, he will tell father later. Don't worry about him, and go as soon as she is ready. He thinks she keeps forgetting the fact that he is 17. He will be an adult next year. He can take care of himself. She doesn't need to do everything for him like when he was a little. Serenity replied she apologizes. She is leaving him behind. She will visit him at the academy whenever she gets a chance. The next scene, Serenity thought he impulsively came here, but it's too late. Suddenly, a bird came while saying, A pretty lady, she came back. The priest stated he came out to check because Peter was making such a fuss. He thought it might be her. Serenity stated she would like to accept his offer to be an attendant at the Lorang Castle. Did the priest already find someone else? The priest replied no. He had a feeling she would come back, so, has she made up her mind then? Serenity replied yes, she will become a maid in the Duke's castle. The next morning, Serenity thought she will do so and free herself from the curse, and from her overbearing father, she will carve out her path. Serenity stated, Hello, she is Serenity. Starting today, she will be working as an attendant. The butler introduced himself as Nasir, then had the maid introduce herself as Camellia. The butler stated Camellia will give her a tour now. She will show her room and explain her duties. Serenity stated, Please take good care of her. Then thought, Bring it on, Lorang Castle, she will tackle whatever comes her way. Then, after some time, Serenity thought this place is really spacious. The place she and Reynard stayed is the Annex Castle, and the main castle has a completely different vibe. At the end of the tour, the head maid stated, This is Madame Alay's room, and the opposite side is Duke's room. Serenity thought the room is on the complete opposite side of the hallway, making it unlikely their paths will cross. Come to think, after all, does she need to have direct contact with him for the brand to disappear? She is not sure how it works. The next day, Serenity thought as Madame Alay's exclusive attendant at Lorang Castle, her job is simple. Pouring tea during tea time and being a companion she can talk to. Is it okay for her to make money this easily? The next day, Duke asked, Mother, is that woman really her new attendant? Mother replied, Yes, it's a happy coincidence. She helped her once, and she had a feeling that we would meet again, and so we have. Duke stated she is the first attendant Mother has had in a while. Hopefully, she isn't harboring any ill intentions. Serenity thought strangely she has been bumping into the Duke often lately, but it's not like she has done anything wrong. Why is he so suspicious of her? Maybe this is a good thing. If she wants to remove the curse, it's better to see him often. Maybe this is an opportunity that's come her way, but the brand won't disappear just by being near him. Madam stated it has been a long time since she felt this great, so she thinks she will go look at the plants. Serenity spoke. Then she will accompany her. Madam replied, She can relax here. It's good for her body to do things like this on her own. Duke stated, Come here for a moment, sort these out, and calculate them by category. Serenity replied, She is his mother's attendant, not his aide. Duke stated that's why he is ordering her to do this. He can't let someone who can't even do this be the exclusive attendant to be Dowager Duchess. If she can't do it, she is free to leave. Serenity thought he's trying to break her through workplace harassment, Does he think she won't be able to sort some paperwork? She grew up looking at numbers as the daughter of a tax collector. She was also the top data organizer at the library. She is a talented worker experienced in math and organization. Serenity stated she will do it. Give it to her. Then she thought she was prepared for anything when she came here. This is just the first hurdle. She will get past it with style. Then, Madam is watching her, and Butler and Abel also came. After that, Serenity stated, she has finished, Your Grace. Butler stated she completed all this work in such a short time. Serenity thought, when did he get here? Abel stated, that's impressive. Serenity thought, wow, he is really handsome. He has a completely different aura from the Duke. Duke thought she has done a great job. He intentionally gave her more work than an experienced person could handle to test her. What is her real identity? Then Duke stated he admits it. She is quite a talented worker. It would be a waste for her to be confined to Lorang Castle, so he will refer her to a commercial guild. She will be better compensated as an aide than an attendant. Serenity replied she is not here to be an aide in a commercial guild. She is content with her current job. Duke spoke. At least hear the terms first. Serenity replied, no, she wants to work in this castle. Abel stated, then, Miss Serenity, how about coming to the Annex Castle? She is always welcome there. Serenity replied she appreciates the offer, but she would prefer to work in the main castle. Abel asked why she cannot go for better compensation as well. Serenity thought, do these people think that all she cares about is money? Then she stated, no, she wishes to work by the Duke's side. Duke asked, so he was her target after all. Did Diego send her? Did he promise to reward her handsomely? Obtain information from the castle and succeed in killing her? Serenity, frightened, replied, what is he talking about? Absolutely not. Duke asked if not. Then what's her reason for insisting on working in the castle, specifically by his side? Serenity thought, what should she do? She has to break through before she gets kicked out. Then she stated she is in love with him. It was love at first sight, and on top of that, he saved Reynard and her. As time passed, her feelings for him only grew, and she can't live without him now, so she came here. Alay clapped and then stated, now that's enough. Serenity is her attendant, so why is everyone here trying to boss her around? She would like some peace and quiet now. After everyone left, Serenity thought, is this okay? He is her attendant, but she just confessed that she is in love with her son. Madam stated that was fun. It's been a long time since she saw her son flustered. He has been emotionally reserved since he was 11. He was exceptionally gifted even as a young child. He never wanted to inherit the title of Duke, but he was chosen as the heir at a young age. Many people saw him as a thorn in their side, and she had no power to protect her son. No one will ever know how many times he escaped death all by himself, and it became natural for him to doubt everyone. Serenity thought he lived in fear of being assassinated from a young age, and it makes sense that he would be suspicious of someone like her hovering around him. Then she stated, she understands, madam, even she would have wanted to get rid of a suspicious attendant such as herself. On the other hand, Duke thought he is so sick of people trying to approach him using such tactics, who would fall for such an obvious lie. The next morning, Duke stated that every morning, she must greet him by yelling, I love you, Your Grace. Doesn't she think doing that would make her words more trustworthy? Is she not up for it? Is she embarrassed to do it? If her feelings are that shallow, there is no reason for her to stay here. Serenity thought patience is a virtue. Should she just give up now? No, stay calm. She can handle this kind of humiliation. Serenity stated, I love you, Your Grace. Should she say it again? Duke spoke. Her face looks strange. The dark circles under her eyes make her look like a raccoon monster. Serenity thought, is he picking a fight? Duke asked if she was unwell. She doesn't seem feverish. If she is sick, let him know. He will have Lowell take a look at her when he comes to visit his mother. Serenity replied, no, she is fine. She just didn't sleep well, due to Duke's inquiry about why she didn't sleep well. Serenity thought that last night, a child was there, he said. Long time no see. Master, he has been waiting for her, and finally, she has come for him. Serenity asked who he was, and the child asked if she had forgotten him. It's him, her first servant. Serenity thought this child is not human. The strange things she saw as a child disappeared when she rubbed her eyes. Her mother told her that if she still saw strange things even after rubbing her eyes, say, go away. Then, the child disappeared. Serenity thought, why does her heart hurt so badly? She apologized. Duke asked her to tell him what's wrong. Serenity replied, nothing's wrong. She just hasn't seen her brother in a long time, and she's feeling a bit lonely. Duke asked why she hadn't seen her brother and what she did over the weekend. Serenity replied that she just stayed in the castle. Then she thought, who knows if he will throw her out if she leaves. All it takes is for him to say he won't let her in. Duke asked her if she really thinks she won't be able to get back in just because he refused her, knowing his mother is here too. He suggested she go see her brother this weekend and stop pretending to care about what he thinks. Serenity replied that she actually does care a lot about what he thinks. Duke expressed doubt. In the next scene, Serenity thought it was her first time seeing Reynard in a while, and he looked a little thin. She wondered if he had been eating properly. Reynard replied that he was trying to eat well, but the food he cooked didn't taste like hers. Abel stated they met again, and Serenity asked what brought him to the academy. Abel replied that he was still a student, taking an advanced course for Holy Night. Reynard suggested the three of them go for lunch together. And Reynard told Serenity it was Lord Abel who healed Reynard back at the castle. Serenity asked how he found out, and Reynard replied that he ran into him at the academy and recognized him immediately, so he greeted him first. Serenity thought she felt uncomfortable around Lord Abel, because he looked just like the fairy who cursed her. But it was Lord Abel who saved Reynard. She was told that the best healer in the empire treated Reynard, despite his beauty and power, and he chose to keep out of the public eye. He was a gentleman. After some time, Abel mentioned it was the first time a lady treated him to a meal. Serenity replied that he didn't even charge anything for Reynard's treatment, and it was the least she could do. It was also her first time buying a meal for a man who is not family. Reynard asked why she had to work in the main castle, and Abel explained that he was curious too. Miss Serenity declined the invitation to the annex castle, and Abel was about to say something. The next moment she spilled water on the table. Abel touched her hand and felt the power. Serenity stated she apologized. She was careless. Did she got his clothes wet? Abel replied he was fine, and more importantly may he take a look at her hand. After that, Abel said to give him a moment. Serenity thought, did he sense something? Can he see the brand like Father Elazar? Or is he really the fairy who cursed her? No, he saved Reynard. In fact, he might be able to provide a clue to breaking the curse. Abel apologized for making a strange request. They finished lunch. It got interrupted because of him. Then Serenity thought what was about that. After lunch, Abel asked if she was heading back to the castle and offered her a ride in his carriage, but Serenity declined, stating she had to go to the temple to meet with the priest. Abel then asked if she could spare some time for him later in the afternoon. Serenity asked if he was inviting her to visit him in the annex castle this evening. Abel replied, no, that might cause misunderstandings. He will come to the main castle instead. He have something personal to ask her, and he will see her tonight. In the next scene, the priest stated that the mark on the back of her hand looks almost identical to the one here. He pointed out that the symbol in the middle is different. Serenity replied, yes, the one on the brand looks like a sun. The priest said, yes, exactly, the singular largest star, the sun. The symbols in this book are actually more akin to ancient relics. Very few people even know about them these days, so it's considered semi-extinct. He wondered if her mark might be related, so he looked into ancient spells, and this symbol represents the emperor, specifically just this part. Serenity asked, what does that mean? The priest replied that he didn't know yet, and they had no solid answer. It might even have a positive meaning. Then at Castle Gate, a knight told her to come with him as Madame Alay had a seizure, and he was ordered to bring her immediately. In the next scene, Serenity stated to Madame Allais if she could hear her, "It's her Serenity." She assured Madame Allais that everything would be all right and pleaded with her not to wander for too long and to come back to them. The doctor noted that Madame Allais's breathing had stabilized. After that, Serenity thought, "Thank goodness, another crisis averted." Then, she felt pain and thought, "It's dizzy. What's wrong with her? Is it fatigue?" She decided to hurry up and change, as she would have to stay with Madame Allais after the doctor left. As she was going down, Duke grabbed her. Duke asked if she really had a fever this time. Serenity thought he was like this before too. Could he actually be worried about her? He wanted to kick her out, yet he was worried about her too. How strange. Duke asked if she found this amusing. Then he picked her up and stated, "Lowell, come here for a moment." Serenity replied she was really okay. She just felt a bit dizzy for a moment, and a good night's sleep would fix her up. Duke asked if she was still unable to sleep well and mentioned her meeting with her brother. Serenity thought it's not that she can't sleep. Maybe she is sleepwalking. Duke stated, "Lowell, he heard that." After that, Serenity asked, "Your Grace, where are they going?" She asked him to put her down, and Duke replied they were going to her room. He told her to stay still, as that was where she was headed anyway. Serenity thought, why is he carrying her there? This is so embarrassing. Abel came, and Duke asked what brought him here. Abel replied that he noticed Serenity looked a bit unwell at lunch, so he came to check on her when he heard she had returned. Duke asked if they two had met, and Serenity replied that they happened to meet at the academy. She found out he was the one who healed her brother, so she thought the least she could do was treat him to a meal. Duke stated he was glad Abel was there, in the room. Serenity thought, here rests Serenity who died from embarrassment. Duke spoke, saying he had noticed dark circles under her eyes lately, and she almost fainted just now. Abel replied that he understood and asked for a moment. Duke asked if it was all right to use his powers so casually, and Abel replied it was okay with Serenity. That's the feeling he got. She just seemed a bit drained. Do he plan to stay here? Duke asked why. Is he in the way? Abel replied no. That's not what he meant, and he apologized. Duke stated, forget it. If her condition worsens, tell him, and he will let Lowell know as well. Serenity asked if he was angry, and Abel replied perhaps, but if he misunderstood something, he won't hold a grudge for long. He is sure it will be fine. Now may he have a look at her. Serenity thought it feels warm, comforting. But why does the brand hurt so much? It feels similar to when she came in contact with the Duke, but also different. Is the brand reacting to something related to the Emperor? Then Serenity stated, wow, she feels refreshed. Abel asked her if she remembered he said he had a question for her earlier. Did she know that there was something here? Serenity began to reply. But Abel cut her off, stating that she did know. Serenity thought, can Lord Abel also sense this brand? He must have used his divine power to heal Reynard before and just now. Father Elazar could also sense the curse. Could divine power really be the answer? Maybe Lord Abel can break the curse, but is it okay to tell him it's a curse? Abel stated he won't ask any more questions, but if she ever feels unwell, come and find him. He will be able to replenish her energy to a certain extent. Serenity asked if he could just replenish. He couldn't heal her. Abel replied, no. Both of Serenity's and his abilities are similar, after all. She possesses very pure divine power. Oh dear, did she not know? Serenity was shocked. Abel continued, it's usually best not to speak of it until the person realizes it themselves. That was his mistake. Serenity stated he is not just going to drop news like that on her and leave. Abel replied, this is not something that others can see very accurately, and it might be hard to accept. So, she is not supposed to be careless when letting someone know, but he have never seen a case like her, so he didn't think it through. He apologized. Serenity replied that she understands and can maintain a perfectly objective attitude while listening. Abel stated that what he is about to say is only what he can feel, so just take it as a reference. She probably healed someone just a while ago. He is talking about Lady Allais. Serenity replied that she just provided first aid, and she calmed down immediately. Abel stated, hasn't her seizures always passed by quickly before? No one has been able to calm her seizures before, not even with his abilities. And it's not just the seizures. In the past, Lady Alay was so ill that she was barely able to go about her daily routine, but she is always healthy when she is with her. Somehow, your divine power is not accumulating in her body but scattering instead. Serenity stated she thinks he is mistaken. Then she thought, she had divine power that can be used to heal others. If she really had that ability, why couldn't she heal her mother? She would not have to be so anxious. Living under a curse, this doesn't make any sense. Then she said, this is a lot to process. Abel replied, it's all right, she should rest now, but he meant what he said earlier, come find him if she ever need. At night, Serenity woke up and thought she slept so well. To live today to its fullest, she should eat first. Then she saw the light is on. Who could it be at this hour? Duke stated, if she is here, have a seat. Now she can eat this. Help herself to the tea. She hasn't had dinner yet. Serenity started eating and thought it's delicious. Duke asked why she had not offered to buy him a meal too. He is the one who saved her life, and he is the one who brought her brother to Abel. So why hadn't she offered to buy him a meal too? Serenity thought when she thinks about it, he is right, but she just can't help feeling defiant towards him. Then she stated she is afraid she can't repay him financially right now. Could she pay it back with her body instead? She thought she could help with his paperwork while attempting to make physical contact. Duke replied that she will pay him back with her body, as if she is slyly trying to satisfy her personal indecent desires, but he won't fall for it. Serenity shouted, no, she meant helping out with calculations, paperwork, that sort of physical work. She didn't mean it in that weird way. Duke thought there is no way someone like her is an assassin. Then he said he will be leaving the castle soon anyway, so she should stay out of trouble while he is gone. Serenity asked where he is going. Duke replied, winter is coming, so he needs to go on a hunt before starving monsters wreak havoc. She has lived in this domain long enough, doesn't she know that? Serenity thought that's right. She forgot because she has been seeing him around in the castle every day. He is the protector of the Lorang domain. Then she asked how long it will take. Duke asked if she's hoping it will. Serenity replied, no, she hopes he returns quickly. If he is not here, she can't tell him that she loves him. Visiting him every morning has been her joy. Duke, blushing, said it won't take long. In the next scene, Serenity thought the brand had disappeared for a while, and now that it's back, it's even more unbearable. It's been 3 days since the Duke has gone. She never thought she would miss his grumpy face. Serenity saw a cat on the second floor. Where did this cat come from? It's so cute, with purple eyes and a pink tail. Is it asking her to follow it? Is there something over there, or does it just want to play hide and seek? Suddenly, Serenity saw 2 persons, and she thought, that's the 3rd floor corridor. Madam should be sleeping in her room right now. Is it a real assassin? Serenity shouted thief. Then she hit one of them, and shouted he will have to go through her first for he take another step. The other person shouted, who is this crazy woman? The next moment he fell down on the ground. Serenity thought, is he dead? No, he is not, thank goodness. She have averted a major crisis for now. Now she need to run and call the knights. Suddenly one of them grab her hair and ask who is she, where did she come from? Is she a mage? The other one grab her face and stated, stay still. Serenity, she spoke, let her go. The mage felt something, and the next moment, he was on the ground. Duke stated, how dare he enter his castle uninvited and attack someone who works for him? Even if he were to cut off his hand right now and throw him in jail, no one would criticize him, Count. Serenity thought, Count. Duke tell her she should return to her room now. Serenity tried to say something, and Duke spoke. Didn't she hear him? Go wash up and apply some medicine. Count stated, let him go. Duke told him, it seems his brother has been rather bored lately. Serenity thought, his brother, does that mean this man is the eldest son of the Lorang family? the heir who could not become the new one because his brother was too accomplished. What if he tries to get back at her? She is just a powerless attendant. No. They were the ones who trespassed. She is the victim here. If the Duke had not saved her, then the scenario would be different right now. Serenity saw both of them again, but suddenly, they were gone. She thought, where did they go? This time it definitely was not the curse fairy and that evil grandpa spirit too. Why is this happening again? It's back. Seriously, she gets new surprises every day. Life is so hard. On the other hand, Duke stated, he know what his brother has been doing to kill him since he was young. It's about time he gave up after so many failures, but now he sneaks into the castle like a petty thief instead. Count shouted, Duke is the thief. He must feel guilty about something to disguise a mage as a mere attendant at his side. Duke replied, he is calling an ordinary woman a mage. His judgment is as poor as ever. Count spoke, don't take him for a fool. This man here is a third circle mage from the Mage's Tower. Yet that woman blocked all his magic, so how can he say she is an ordinary woman? Duke thought, a third circle mage from the Mage's Tower, more like a first circle. Mages of this level can be easily found on the street. His greedy and foolish brother has been scammed again. Then Duke asked, is that so? Then why is he and this esteemed third circle mage from the Mage's Tower, climbing the walls of his castle like wild animals? What was he going to do? Especially on the day he was away from the castle. Count could not give him a proper answer. Duke stated, he will let him go today, but this is the last time. If he steps out of line again, he will have to take back everything he generously gave him. Count asked, what does he mean by that? Duke stated, Gilia, escort his brother to the portal. He can unbind him there. He should start by reclaiming the mining rights to the Smarge mines he gave him. Count shouted, what? Let go of him. How dare he put his hands on him? He is just a lowly knight. Duke stated, tell him that next time, he will take away his pitiful title as Count. Then Duke knocked on the door and asked if he could come in. Serenity thought, why does she have to keep experiencing things like this? Did she do something terrible to deserve this? If so, someone needs to tell her what is it that she has done wrong. She misses her mom. Then she heard the Duke's voice. She opened the door. Duke thought she was crying, and then he stated, stop making an ugly face and come with him. Then after some time, Duke spoke, stay still. He told her to put some ointment on it, but she didn't listen. Stupid girl. If she falls asleep like this and gets a permanent scar. Serenity thought she did not think she would get any sleep tonight, but with the Duke here, she feels better. Is this why a person should not be alone when he is feeling gloomy? Serenity asked if he finished hunting the demonic beasts. Duke replied yes. Then she asked, but she thought it would take him a few more days. Duke replied, did she not ask him to return quickly? He guesses she lied then. If she wishes, he will leave her alone. Serenity replied, no, please stay with her a little while longer. Duke replied that the man from earlier won't ever return here again. Even if he does, she won't have to deal with so much worrying and can go to sleep. Serenity tried to say something. Duke told her to go to bed already. Serenity asked if all he has to do is just tell her to lie down. Why would he push her down like this? Duke replied, because she did not listen when he ordered her to. If she doesn't obey and sleep, he is happy to force her. Serenity replied she is fine. She is going to sleep now. After that, Serenity thought he is so mean, but of all the Lorang lords, she feels safest and most comfortable with him. The next day, Serenity stated she loves him. Your Grace, Duke replied, don't do that anymore. Then Duke ordered the maid, Abel, and the knight's order will arrive soon. So tell the kitchen to get the food ready. Serenity thought, now that she thinks about it, why did the Duke and Sir Gilia return first? Then after some time, Serenity spoke, it's snowing. Her life in the castle has been so hectic that she did not even realize how cold it had become. Abel stated she must like snow. Serenity thanked him for his hard work at the demonic beast hunt. Abel replied he only did his duty. That's all. And then thought it's always Aaron who does most of the work anyway. Then he started, That reminds him. Here's something to give her. A necklace made with the magic stone. Serenity asked, the magic stone that comes from demonic beasts, isn't that very rare and expensive? Abel replied, he has no use for it anyway. It helps recover her stamina, so it will be useful to her. It suits her well, as he expected. Duke stated his mother is looking for her, so is she going to continue fooling around here? Serenity stated, she'd better get going now. And this necklace, Abel replied, please don't feel burdened by this gift, it's her gift. Serenity thought she feels incredibly burdened, but she can't keep refusing him, and she can't have Lady Alay wait either, so let's just worry about this letter, she thanked him. The next scene, Serenity asked if she heard the Crown Prince has been badly wounded. Is it very serious? Alay replied, he hurt his head badly, so they need to keep an eye on him. They are praying that he will recover. If not, then everyone who is in line to the throne will get caught up in this war. It would not matter if they want to or not. Serenity thought the Crown Prince is the Emperor's only child, so if the prince is not able to ascend to the throne, does her brand have nothing to do with the situation? The Duke and Lord Abel are in line to the throne. If the situation worsens, the entire Lorang domain might get caught up in this. It won't be long before Reynard comes of age, so if a civil war erupts, he will be deployed, and he is close to Lord Abel. Alay stated, don't worry, Aaron is a strong child, so she is sure he will protect all of them, this land as well as his brother. Then, after some time, Duke asked why is she bringing him that. Serenity replied, she bumped into his servant on her way here, so she asked her to let her bring this man. Duke asked, but why? Serenity replied, well, Lady Alay told her earlier that the Crown Prince. Duke cut her sentence and told her, don't worry about unnecessary things, nothing has happened yet, and he is not some idiot who can't protect his own people. Serenity asked if the Emperor is in good health. Duke replied, the Emperor's health is classified information. It's not something he can talk about, he doesn't know anyway. Serenity replied, of course, he is absolutely right. Then she thought, the brand, she should not tell him about the Emperor pattern on it. She doesn't know anything about it anyway. Duke stated, he told her everything is fine. Even if something happens, she, his mother, and her brother will just evacuate. Serenity asked, what about him? What will he do when Lady Alay and she escape? After some time, Serenity thought the Duke didn't say anything at the end, so let's just get up. She can't spend her precious Sunday worrying in her bed. The next scene, a maid asked if she heard the annex maids are all looking for a chance to leave. She guessed their families want them back to avoid getting involved in something dangerous. Serenity replied she is not living. Then she thought they don't want to be associated with House Lorang in this dangerous situation. It makes sense because although the annex maids are not rich, they are all noblewomen. But her situation is completely different. Then she thought maybe she should visit the annex later. She needs to return this necklace too. The maid stated she really loves the Duke. She heard that love can conquer all in this world. Good luck. After some time, Serenity thought she came here, but she is not sure if she's allowed to go inside, and she can't just ask a random person to bring Lord Abel to her. Lady Becketon stated, who is she, and why is she standing skulking around like a stray cat? Serenity thought she is the third wife of the former Duke. She is also Lord Abel's mother. Serenity greeted her. Becketon stated she heard that she embarrassed her son by insisting on staying in the main building, but now that things are turning hairy, she is interested in the annex now. What a sneaky girl she is. She supposed House Alay is crumbling down so badly that it wouldn't be able to survive the competition. Does he not know that rough stone like him will get attacked if he continues to keep the title that doesn't suit him? Serenity kept quiet. Be patient. She is just a maid. Then she stated, but if that stone is a diamond, he doesn't even have to compete, does he? It would be the attackers who get hurt instead, and the diamond will shine even brighter. Becketon shouted, how dare an uneducated girl like her speak to her this way, and slapped her. Duke and Abel came at that moment. Abel grabbed his mother's hand and stated, what does she think she is doing? Becketon spoke, how dare he? Duke gave greetings to Lady Becketon. It looked like he has not been very attentive to her lately. He couldn't believe he allowed such a useless rock like this to be on the ground she walked. Becketon asked, "What is he talking about?" Duke threw that rock to a sculpture. Then the sculpture got destroyed. Duke stated, "He thinks she needs to train her servants better. See how an insignificant rock on the ground destroyed a valuable piece of art just now. As she knows, thorough cleaning is always very necessary. Don't she agree?" Becketon was very angry. Serenity said she would like to return this to him. Abel thought about this. Serenity continued, saying she didn't deserve such a rare item and thanked him for such a thoughtful gesture. After that, Duke spoke he wanted to see it. Then he thought perhaps he should have aimed at that woman's face on the statue. Serenity stated to Duke that she thought he was having bad thoughts. She said it did not hurt at all. She forgot all about the pain after seeing him break the statue. It made her feel so much better. Duke asked if she wanted him to break something else. Serenity replied no. She was sure that statue was really expensive. What a waste. Duke thought she was worried about that. Serenity continued that she was almost shattered too back there because she was so shocked. Duke thought he had better clean up later. Then he said to just make sure to put some ointment on it. He asked what she gave Abel earlier. Serenity replied it was nothing. Actually, that wasn't true. She couldn't call it a necklace worth a mansion. He had given her a magic stone necklace before. It was good for restoring energy. She thought he was being considerate. Duke asked why he would accept such a thing so easily. If she needed something, she should ask him. He meant she should ask the main building. Serenity thought about asking for a necklace worth a mansion. Anyway, she accepted it accidentally that day, which was why she returned it to him today. She knew her place very well. She didn't want to lose her head to a thief while wearing something like that. Duke thought he didn't know if she was greedy or not. Then he patted her head. Duke said anyway, "Don't go around getting hit." He couldn't stand his people being mistreated like this. Serenity asked his people if he would consider her to be on his side. Duke replied because she worked in the main building, and he meant that she belonged to her mother, so she had better conduct herself better. Serenity thought perhaps she was having a much better time in the Duke mansion than she thought. She was going to tell Reynard about this. The next day, Serenity thought it was very deserted here today for some reason. This felt similar to the way it was at the Duke mansion. The academy students must also be worried about the imperial succession. Then Reynard came and greeted her. He asked if she was okay. Serenity replied he was talking about the crown prince. Was the situation very serious? Reynard told her the prince had lost his eyes, and he was unable to move his lower body. He had heard that he couldn't have any children either. Serenity said, "So that means the position of the crown prince is going to become vacant." She told him to make sure he didn't get involved, to ignore this succession situation and not side with anyone. Reynard replied that wasn't possible because he was going to be knighted soon. The situation escalates. When that time comes, he must take a side, and he is going to side with Lord Abel. He had seen enough of Lord Abel's abilities to trust him, so she must leave the Duke mansion now. Serenity replied she couldn't do that. Reynard told her not to worry about money. He could take care of everything now. Serenity said it wasn't about money. She couldn't leave the Duke. Then she thought when she heard the maids in the annex were going to leave, she did not feel this way. She knew Reynard was worried. But how could she say the very thing to her younger brother? She had no choice. She must stay at Lorang Castle because of reasons. Reynard asked if she had feelings for the Duke. Serenity replied no. It wasn't like that. She just had her reasons. Reynard asked if it was something hard to talk about. Serenity replied yes, but she would tell him about it later. Reynard said all right. Tell him later. It wasn't like something was going to happen right away. Anyway, he was serious about not taking her money anymore, so she could do whatever she wanted and not worry about their father's debts. Wasn't he the best little brother? Serenity thought Reynard was truly becoming a knight. Next scene, Serenity thought if Reynard was siding with Lord Abel, did that mean Lord Abel was going to get involved in the fight for the throne? She was not sure about Lord Abel, but it was clear that Lady Becketon would covet the throne. But what about the Duke? He said he was not interested. But what if he became the crown prince? What would happen to her then? Suddenly, a mark appeared and then went away. Serenity thought, what was that? After some time, a noble person said that the Duke told her she could come in. It seemed the Duke found her footsteps more important than whether the empire turned into a battlefield. Serenity got in, and the Duke asked what brought her there. Serenity replied she visited the academy yesterday, and there was talk about the crown prince, so she was wondering what he thought. The Duke asked if she wanted to become an imperial palace attendant. Serenity replied no. That was not what she meant. The Duke stated, all right then. She said she was cautious, but she asked such bold questions. He then gave her a bracelet and said she was worried about losing her neck, so a bracelet should be okay. Wearing it should prevent incidents like last time. Serenity asked what he meant and if it contained protective magic or something. The Duke replied something like that. Just wear it and don't lose it. Serenity asked how she could accept something like this. The Duke told her he would prefer to see her wear that than go around all weak and defenseless. If it made her feel better, think of it as a loan. Just wear it while she was working at Lorang Castle. Serenity thought if it was a loan, that might be okay. Then she thanked him and almost forgot to say, I love you, Your Grace. Serenity thought she would use it with care and return it with a thank you gift once the curse was lifted. She never expected to receive such a gift from the Duke. For some reason, she felt like only good things would happen to her for a while now. The next day, Serenity said she had brought some medicine and tea from the doctor. The head maid replied it looked like these were for Lady Alay. The doctor must have been busy since there were many disputes nowadays. Serenity thought, so the rumors about the crown prince had spread, and the power struggle had already begun outside. The head maid told her Lady Alay becomes much more stable when Serenity is around, so she was sure the doctor could now focus on his clinic. She also mentioned they had a guest, so Serenity should be careful as she moved around. After that, Serenity thought about the cat from before. Was someone in the castle raising it? Today, she wouldn't let it get away. It wasn't running away this time. It was so soft. Were all rich people's cats like this? What was its name? Did it just answer her? It was so cute. She didn't know its owner, but she could give it a name. What would be a good name, since its tail was pink? What about Pinky? Serenity thought she came up with it, but it was really lame. The cat spoke, saying she liked the name Pinky. Serenity was shocked and asked if the cat just spoke. Not that it spoke human language just now, but she was sure she heard it. Was she hearing things now? Suddenly, Pinky got angry. Meyer stated he heard that there was a mage pretending to be an attendant. Serenity thought, who is he? He looked like a high-ranking noble. Was he the guest the head maid mentioned? Meyer spoke, saying it was interesting. She seemed more like a saintess than a mage. Serenity replied he was speaking to her, but she thought he was mistaken. She would take her leave now. Meyer stated, mistaken. Hadn't anyone said anything like this to her before? Serenity replied no. This was the first time. Then she thought Abel had told her she possessed very pure divine power. Meyer spoke, so he was her first. He quite liked that. Serenity thought, who is this man? He was making her uneasy. She told him if he didn't have anything else to say, she would take her leave now. Meyer grabbed her hair, kissed it, and then said she smelled delightful. He wondered what she tasted like. Serenity was frightened. Abel grabbed his hand and said he was going too far. Meyer replied he never expected him to be able to do something like this. He would have thought Abel would be hiding in his room so no one could find him. He had no idea Abel would be able to protect someone. Abel said he should not be here and asked him to leave. Duke Meyer stated he thought he belonged here. Abel replied that was none of his concern. The Duke said not to be so suspicious. He was done with his business here and also got to see the thing he was curious about. See her later, attendant. Serenity thought, why would she see him again? Abel asked if she was okay. Serenity replied she was fine and thanked him. Abel said that man was rude. Serenity asked, that man? Abel replied that, technically, Meyer was his cousin. Serenity was shocked and thought she didn't know much about Lady Becketon, but she heard that the former Duke had 2 older brothers. One of these older brothers was the current emperor, and among these three brothers, the oldest was the former duke of the two dukedoms in the empire, House Biscan. This meant that all of the dukes and their families in this empire were related to the current imperial family, since the only son of the current emperor was ill. The only other person Lord Abel called his cousin had to be the son of House Biscan. After the former Duke Biscan passed away, she heard his son inherited the title. She knew his name sounded familiar. Then asked if he was Duke Biscan. Abel replied yes, and not to worry. She didn't do anything wrong. He had always been a little strange. Serenity laughed and then said she didn't know he could talk this way too. He just always smiled kindly at everyone. Abel said he was relieved that she was laughing. He was very worried that she might feel uncomfortable around him, especially with what happened with his mother, and it seemed like his brother was not very happy with him either. Serenity replied she would never blame him for what Lady Becketon did. Why would she feel uncomfortable around him? Besides, Lord Aaron did not care about what other people had been saying lately, so he didn't have to worry about that. Abel thought he was talking about another problem, but it looked like she had no idea. Then he asked about the bracelet. Serenity replied Lord Aaron let her borrow it. He said he was annoyed by how weak she was and told her to borrow it as long as she worked in the castle. Abel thought his brother had come up with a sneaky plan. Serenity said, Pinky, how did she get up there? Did he see it over there on the roof? The cat with a pink tail. Is someone raising that cat in the annex? Abel replied no. His mother detested cats. After that, Abel thought about a cat with a pink tail. Next scene. Duke remembered some time ago Meyer telling him he didn't care if he got involved, but it would be best if he made his position clear, for his and his mother's sakes. He would prefer to find the cure for the crown prince instead. The head maid told Serenity her father was apparently at the front gate. Serenity thought, what? Her father shouted that he was telling them his daughter was in there. He might be the Duke, but he still couldn't detain her like this. Serenity asked what he was doing there and why he had come. He replied that he was there to take her with him. Didn't she know how dangerous it was there? Serenity responded that she didn't know what he had heard, but there was no need to worry, so he should go home. She would be 1,000 times safer with the Duke than with him. Her father said he couldn't leave her there. Serenity asked what he was doing. Was it because he needed money again? Her father said, how could she say such a thing? He wouldn't leave without her, no matter what. Serenity thought he was acting this way even here. The Duke grabbed him and asked what he thought he was doing. It was his jurisdiction to keep the people inside his residence safe, especially those who wanted to stay. Making a scene here wouldn't change anything. If he crossed the line any further, he would have to use more than words to stop him. After some time, her father shouted that it was not fair. Serenity was his daughter, so it was not fair. Serenity said she was sorry. The Duke asked why she was sorry. Serenity replied it was for inconveniencing him. He had to come out during his meal, and she didn't want him to see her like this. The Duke stated it was not her fault that her family acted selfishly. He told her to stop frowning. That must be her father who was unable to act as the head of her family. Serenity replied that was correct. Then she remembered she had told him these exact words some time ago. The Duke stated she belonged to House Lorang now. Unless she walked out of here on her own accord, he wouldn't ever let anyone take her away, and he would never judge her based on someone else's behavior. Serenity asked if it was because she belonged to him. The Duke replied that would depend on how she behaved. Serenity continued, asking why he had said she belonged to him before. Since she worked in the main building, was that why he said she belonged to him? The Duke said only if she behaved properly and did her job right. Serenity replied, so it was conditional? That wasn't fair. The next day, Serenity asked if she was embroidering. L.A. replied yes. Aaron's birthday was coming up in a few days. After she got sick, she hadn't been able to celebrate his birthday properly. She would like to give him something she made herself, but this was the only thing she knew how to do. She was happy she was healthy enough this year to celebrate it, and she was certain it was all thanks to Serenity. Serenity thought, by the way, it really was the Duke's birthday soon. Then she went to the training ground. What's going on? Why is it so noisy inside the training hall? There was a knight trying to attack the Duke, but the next moment he was on the ground. Serenity said she couldn't even follow his movements. Gilly told her an average person's vision would not be fast enough to follow the Duke's sword. The Duke was the only one in the Empire who had reached this level. Serenity replied she guessed she'd better never fight the Duke. Gilly said that wasn't true, adding that she might be the only one who could come out unscathed even if she attacked the Duke. By the way, what was happening in the training hall?
Serenity stated she had actually come to see him. She wanted to ask if there was anything the Duke had been in need of lately. She was planning to get the Duke a birthday present. Gilly thought, but as he remembered, the Duke ordered his staff not to prepare any gifts for him, so the fact that he did not tell the lady about this rule must mean. Gilly spoke. Now that he thought about it, the Duke does not have any gloves.
Serenity thought about gloves. She could see that he was indeed the only one not wearing any gloves. Then she asked if the gloves the knights wear were expensive. Gilly replied that yes, they would be more expensive than regular gloves. Serenity thought she should be able to purchase them with her salary, shouldn't she? If not, she would have to buy them on credit. Gilly told her there was a weapon shop the Duke frequented. Would she like him to take her there? Serenity replied she would appreciate that. Then she would see him at this time the day after tomorrow in front of the main building. Suddenly, a sword hit the ground near them. The Duke stated, "That's enough sparring for today. They may train on their own now." Serenity thought, what was that? And asked if he did not throw it this way on purpose. Did he? Gilly replied he was not sure, but he was certain that his training with him tomorrow was going to be hellish. At night, Serenity thought she was done for the day. Suddenly, the Duke came. Serenity thought, what's going on? Did he finish work early today? The Duke spoke. It was Abel at first, next was him, and he guessed it was Gilly, and now she should refrain from visiting the knights during their work hours for a personal reason like that. Serenity replied she was sorry, but she talked to Sir Gilia very briefly only because she had a question for him. Lady Alay told her she could rest during her nap time. Then she thought, she knew it, he had not changed, and he must have thrown that sword at her on purpose this morning. He is crossing the line here. She thought he had gotten nicer recently, but she was wrong. He is so annoying. Suddenly, the Duke felt pain in his chest. Serenity grabbed him and asked, Your Grace, what is wrong? The Duke replied his chest, then thought, this is the same as the last time, it's happening again. Serenity thought, what should she do? The bracelet. He said it has the power to restore one's energy, so it might help. Serenity said, Your Grace, try to breathe slowly. Inhale then exhale. Is he feeling better? The Duke replied, No, he is not okay. Serenity said, but it looks like he feels better. The Duke hugged her tightly. Serenity thought, what's going on? And asked, Your Grace. The Duke replied he said he is not okay. Serenity thought, but this situation is not okay either. It's as if he is having a tantrum like Reynard used to when he was sick as a child. The Duke thought, this music sounds familiar. Serenity thought, what is this? She heard someone cry, who is that kid? And she asked why he was crying. The boy replied, don't hate him, please remember him. He must remember. He doesn't want to be apart from him. Suddenly, Serenity felt pain in her hand due to the mark. Her mother spoke, Mommy's sorry, poor daughter. Serenity woke up and thought, when did she fall asleep? The Duke seemed still, so she escorted him to his room, and she guessed she fell asleep the moment she returned. It felt like she had a strange dream. A maid came and asked why she was at the door if she was sick. The Duke said she should take the morning off today. Serenity asked, the Duke said she is sick. The maid replied, yes, so he asked her to take care of Serenity this morning. Serenity wondered if he was giving her the morning off because she worked so hard yesterday. The maid told her she was going to take care of everything for her today, including her meals and getting dressed. Serenity spoke, thanks, she looked forward to it, and thought she would love that. She had never been served before. On the other hand, Father spoke, goodness, he is here. Abel replied, it has been a long time. Father said he heard that Lord Abel had been visiting every day for the last few days, and his schedule in the capital city to Langar had extended. Abel asked if that bird was being wary of him. Father replied, he is sure that bird is not wary of him. It's just that he probably noticed the smell of blood that always comes with the imperial bloodline. So what is it that he wanted to ask him? Abel spoke. He heard that it was Father who sent Serenity to the Duke's castle. Why did he send her there? Father asked. Why is he asking this question? Abel replied. He learned that Serenity's mother's maiden name was Pelia. The Pelia family has an old nickname, the Empire's Hope. This empire's greatest fame Relia. Father replied, he see indeed. Abel stated, there is no way he would not have felt it. Father, power keeps gathering around Serenity, but she doesn't have any in herself. Father asked, do he believe Serenity's power as the descendant of the Famage bloodline has awakened? Abel replied, she can indeed see things, but she does not yet know that she has special power. Father stated, so she went to the powerful being who does not even exist. Abel asked, what do he mean? Father replied, Serenity won't get to live long. So please take pity on her and make sure she does not get involved in anything dangerous. The old evil spirit asked, why is he going around in that abominable form? The fairy replied, none of his business. The old evil spirit told him he was trying to impress his mistress. Stop trying to get close to her, she is his mistress. The cat said he is the one who messed up and got his mistress weakened. The evil spirit thought his new mistress is too slow. Why hasn't she figured it out yet? Then they started fighting. Gilly and the other knights came for dinner. After some time, the chef found a stone. Gilly got the stone and told him to keep it a secret. Don't tell anyone that he found this. If people find out, he is going to assume that chef told someone. After that, the Duke spoke about a magic item with an engraving of the Hestia crest. Gilly said he thought the new apprentice knight who arrived recently must have dropped it. What should he do with it? The Duke replied, return it to where he found it. Then the Duke did some magic on it. Gilly said, oh, so this way, the Duke will be able to hear their communication. The Duke replied, return it before that apprentice knight figures it out. After that, the Duke thought, how treacherous. In the next scene, Serenity thought everyone here looks so rich. Will she really be able to buy gloves the Duke approves of? Is she overdoing it? She should have just thanked them instead of buying him a birthday gift. Gilly told her there is no need to let anyone know what she is doing. So he will just call her by her first name when she is outside. Have a look around here. Serenity thought she had never been to a place like this before. Everything looks expensive. Suddenly, she heard a voice say, if she don't have money, get lost. Serenity thought, what's going on? Did she just imagine it? This makes her feel upset for some reason. What is he looking at? Did he just tell her to get lost? Gilly told her to come this way and pick one. Serenity replied, there are so many different types. The shop owner told her. Of course, they also have many rare items you can't find anywhere else. Serenity thought they all looked really expensive. She thought this pair might be the cheapest, then said, these would be nice. The shop owner told her, goodness, she have such incredible taste. This pair is this season's new product made from behemoth hide. Serenity thought she chose them because they looked the cheapest and asked, how much is it? The shop owner replied, House Lorang has always maintained a good business relationship with us, so he will give them to her for 10 coppers. Serenity thought her entire wealth was only 20 coppers. She thought she couldn't buy them even with everything she had, but they were cheaper than she thought. Could it be that they are not of good quality? Then she looked at Gilly, who signaled her to take it. The shop owner asked if she would like to take them and mentioned that gift wrapping would cost an additional 2 coppers. Serenity replied, okay, she would like it to be wrapped as well. She thought, by the way, the gloves cost 10 coppers, but the wrapping costs 2 coppers. The gloves are cheaper than she thought, but the gift wrapping is so expensive. She guessed this is what it's like in the shops for the nobles. Gilly spoke. This shop has a long relationship with Lorang Castle, so she got a very special discount. Serenity mumbled. Well, it makes sense since a rich regular would end up spending much more money. After that, Serenity stated she would like to buy him a cup of tea to thank him for his help. She knew a good place. Could they go there? Gilly replied, he is honored. In the next scene, Gilly said, "It's delicious. This tastes different from the tea we drink at the castle." Serenity replied, "This shop has many customers who do hard labor. That's why it's sweeter and stronger. The owner of this place believes that milk tea should taste like this to help with their fatigue." Gilly said, "She know this shop very well." Serenity replied, "She used to work here. She learned to make tea and other drinks from this place." Gilly told her, if she makes strong milk tea like this too, he think Duke would like it. Serenity asked, "The Duke likes sweets?" Gilly replied, "Of course, he detests anything that tastes even a tiny bit bitter. He had to drink a lot of poison when he was young, so he hates anything bitter because it reminds him of poison." Serenity asked, "Why drink poison?" Gilly replied, "Sending assassins was not the only way to kill him. After all, there was a good reason why he developed such a harsh personality, but he is not that harsh deep inside. If she makes sweet tea like this for him, he would love it." Serenity replied, "All right, then, she better make him a fantastic cup of tea someday." Suddenly she said, "Why is his brother right there? He should be in the academy right now." Gilly replied, "Maybe he came out for training, they still have time. So why don't they go see him for a moment before they miss him?" After that, Gilly said, "It looks like he is going in there. She can go and chat with him. In the meantime, he will summon a carriage." After that, Serenity asked, "What is he doing here?" Reynard replied, "He was volunteering because he did not have any classes today." "What brings her all the way out here today?" Abel came and called her name. Then suddenly, he told her, here he is just a volunteer healer, so when they are out, he would like her to call him by his first name. Then Abel asked, "Isn't that right, Ray?" Reynard replied, "Of course, Abel." Serenity said, "Okay, she won't blow his cover," and thought she just wouldn't say his name at all. She came here to buy something when she spotted Reynard. She would leave early now so she wouldn't get in his way. Abel asked, "Can we go back together? Does she have to return right now?" Serenity replied, "She came here with Sir Gilia. He is waiting for her." Serenity looked at them and thought it looks like Reynard has completely fallen for Lord Abel. She gets the reason why he decided to take his side was not just political. Why does Lord Abel look exactly like that fairy? If someone like him became the emperor, she thinks this kingdom could indeed become a great place. Suddenly she thought, wait, the emperor. Then, in the carriage, Serenity thought, why didn't she realize this sooner? The brand of the curse the fairy left includes the emperor's crest, and that fairy looked exactly like Lord Abel. There has been uncertainty regarding the position of the future emperor, and Lord Abel's name was mentioned as a possible successor. Is this just a coincidence? But even if these things are related, what does it have to do with her? She don't want to get involved in something so complicated. Then she saw her father fighting with some people. Did he get drunk in the middle of the day? She wondered. At night, Serenity thought, it's snowing, and there's the Duke. Is he returning home now? His hands are bare again. It might get hectic in the morning, so maybe she should just give it to him now. It's past midnight, so it's technically his birthday too, but maybe she shouldn't visit so late at night. The Duke usually wakes up early, so she could take this opportunity to make him a cup of milk tea and give him this gift at the same time. The Duke asked, why is she roaming around at night again? Serenity replied, she is not roaming around, but what about him? Why is he working in the staff dining room? He could have ordered one of the servants to cook if he wanted a late-night snack. The Duke replied, because he did not want to make anyone work so late at night. Serenity thought, she guess he is willing to make himself a simple snack like this. The Duke asked, what is she doing here anyway? Did she come for a cup of tea? Serenity replied, it's not for her. Please, drink up. The Duke asked, what is this? Did she poison it or something? Serenity replied, why would she dare to do such a thing right in front of him? If he don't want it, Shay will take it away. The Duke drank it and said, it's drinkable. Serenity stated, Your Grace, a birthday gift. It's nothing fancy. She got them for him to also thank you for taking good care of her. Do he like them? The Duke tried to check the gloves. Serenity thought, he hates them so much that he wants to kill her. The Duke thought, they are light. They feel like he is not wearing anything. Then he said, they look like behemoth's hide, so where did she manage to get them? Serenity replied, on Yansburg Street, Sir Gilia helped her find them. The Duke asked, so they two were together, feeling around? Serenity replied, of course not, we chose this gift together. The Duke again asked, where did she get the money to buy these? Serenity replied, she may be poor, but she still have 10 coppers to spend on a thank you gift. The Duke thought, a pair of behemoth's hide gloves for 10 coppers. Serenity said, if he don't like them, give them back, she will get a refund or sell them. The Duke replied, unfortunately, that's not possible because he have already worn them, she have no use for them, so he guess he better keep them. Serenity said, sure, she would appreciate it if he don't throw them away, then thought, her life sucks, but she gave them to him, so it's all good. After some time, the Duke thought, so she got them for him. The next day, the Duke was training. A knight asked, did the Duke eat some dragon meat or something yesterday? Gilly replied, isn't it because he got new gloves? Then he thought, he is really using the ones Miss Serenity gave him. Then Gilia said, he is in excellent condition today. Is it because he is wearing amazing gloves? The Duke replied, stop talking nonsense. How could these cost only 10 coppers? Gilly spoke. Did he figure it out already? She picked the most expensive pair. It cost him a lot. The Duke asked, how much did he spend exactly? Gilly replied, is he trying to pay him back? There is no need. He knows the Duke refuses to take his gift unless he does this. He will just go in with Miss Serenity, then tell him Lady Hestia is apparently on her way here. The Duke told him he will do his work in the knight's quarters today, so don't let her anywhere near it. After some time, Serenity thought, wow, she is incredibly gorgeous, then remembered the maid telling her the lady who is visiting right now is Hestia. The Duke had said about her, he would rather marry a muddy pig than spend his life with someone like her. Hestia spoke. She must be the new attendant she heard about. Serenity introduced herself. Then Hestia thought, Lady Alay obviously favors this attendant. It's no wonder the Duke might find it hard to avoid her. Then she said, Serenity, could she get another cup of tea? Serenity thought, Hestia seems so nice. Is what Amy said really true? But she is sure the Duke had a good reason. Then she remembered maid Amy telling her that the lady has a strange personality. Many ladies are in love with the Duke. At that ball, a young lady who was in love with him struck up a conversation with him. Lady Hestia tripped her, and then her dress was ruined because she was holding a glass of champagne. Everyone stared at her. Suddenly, the cup of tea fell on the table. Hestia spoke. Oh no. Is she all right? Serenity thought. This is exactly the same as the story Amy told her. Was it really just an accident? The Duke came and said, Amy, take her out and ask Lowell to treat her. Serenity tried to speak, saying she was fine, but the Duke stated, don't argue with him. Does she really plan on continuing to serve with a wound like that? After that, Serenity thought she was pretty sure it was on purpose. Why? It wasn't as if the Duke was there. Was Hestia bothered by the fact that she is the only attendant in the men's building? But why couldn't the Duke just ask her if she was all right? What is she saying? She is just an attendant. She can't forget her place just because the Duke is generous to her. On her way to the room, Serenity saw a fairy. She ran toward it, but it was gone. Serenity thought, please just tell him if he wants something from her. He put a curse on her, but he won't say anything whenever he appear in front of her. Abel came and asked, it's cold. Shall we go inside? This is not his conservatory. After that, he told her sometimes he comes here to look after the plants. Serenity thought, it feels cozy here. It seems warmer than usual too. Is there still some power Lord Abel used left? Serenity asked, why did he take care of the main building conservatory too? Then she spoke. She is sorry if she sound rude. It's just that there are plenty of flowers in the annex too. Abel replied, all right. Could she let him do this for her? And explained there wasn't a special reason why he was taking care of the main building conservatory. It's because his mother has acted rudely to Lady Alay often. He think he need to do this in order to feel a little better. By the way, Did Lady Hestia do this to her hand? Serenity replied, yes. She is visiting Lady Alay right now. The Duke is with them too. Serenity thought, what is this? For some reason, she feel like she need to tell him. Abel was trying to say something. The Duke came and said, is she still going to claim that she don't fool around during her work hours? Abel replied, this isn't Serenity's fault. He pulled her in here. The Duke spoke, then it's his fault. While the annex guest is causing trouble in the main building, he is holding her attendant's hand in the conservatory. What do he think he is doing? Abel replied, it seemed like she was a victim of that trouble, so he was trying to take responsibility and atone for it. Serenity thought, why such a sudden change in atmosphere? Then she spoke, she will get right back to work. Then thought she was told that these two get along pretty well, so why do they look so bloodthirsty whenever they meet? By the way, what was Lord Abel about to say earlier? The Duke stated, he guessed she want to return to Abel right now, don't she? Then she should have gone to the annex when he asked her. She was just like an obedient puppy when she followed him to the conservatory with the excuse of being treated. He knows she is quick to find a new man, so he guesses she doesn't care about his feelings. Serenity thought, why is he being so childish? Why did he bother coming all the way to the conservatory to pick a fight? Is he just venting? Could it be that he is angry at Lord Abel but is taking his anger out on me instead? She got hurt even though she did nothing wrong. So why does she have to endure his anger and be insulted instead of being consoled? Serenity spoke, she is sorry, Your Grace. She will be more careful in the future. If it bothers him so much, she will keep her distance from Lord Abel. She agrees that she should become a dog who is obedient only to her own master. The Duke asked, what is she saying? Serenity replied, then she will return to her mistress now. The Duke was shocked. After some time, Serenity thought, he is so annoying. What is she to the Duke? Of course, she knows she is just an attendant, but she thought she got a little closer. A maid came and told her she had amazing news. When she returned to the room, the Duke had poured tea on Lady Hestia's hands too. He filled her cup himself first and then said, oh no, my bad. Serenity thought, does he think he avenged her? But what does that matter when he is rude to her? Why should she be grateful when this is not even something she wanted? Whatever, she just need to do her job. An attendant must act accordingly. Several days later, the Duke thought, what's her problem? She is acting like a temporary employee. What is she upset about? It's true that she hangs around Abel too much. She is the main building's attendant, so she should have known better and ignored him. Or is it because of Lady Hestia? What more should he have done then? The Duke spoke. Bring him the milk tea she made last time. Serenity replied. She will make it right away. Lady Alay said. Goodness, it smells so good. The Duke said. Another one. This is bitter. Make me another. Serenity thought. Why is he trying to pick a fight again? Lady Alay asked. It's perfectly sweet. So why is he doing this? Serenity said she would make him another one. After that, the Duke said, it's bitter. The next one is too sweet. Another one. He said the one before was better. Serenity thought, why is he doing this? Can she hit him just once? And spoke. She is sorry. Your Grace. She will make him another one. The Duke stated. He wants her to do the morning greetings again. Serenity replied, all right. She will do it again starting tomorrow. And thought it would be easier to erase the mark. In the next scene, Father Elazar spoke. He is glad to see that she looks healthy. The conversation between Elazar and Alay continued. Serenity thought these two looked very close. Alay must have asked Father Elazar for help to find an attendant because they are so close. After some time, Elazar asked, how is her brand nowadays? Serenity replied, it's the same. Elazar spoke, so the pattern is visible at the moment. Serenity replied, she did not get to see the Duke today because he went out on an expedition early this morning. Serenity thought she had not felt this pain in a long time. For an attendant, she guessed she had been staying unusually close to the Duke. Elazar spoke, take this. He brought it from the temple. It's for the brand. And he thought it might help her find the answers to her problems. Serenity replied, thanks, and thought, Why is he making such a face? Elazar told her. She is welcome to visit him at the temple whenever she need. He will always be waiting for her. That night, Serenity thought, this looks like a very important book, and started reading. This is about fairies' appearances. Normally, a fairy resembles the form it was originally born in, but if a fairy makes a deal with a faemage, it tends to be affected by its contractor and takes another form. It is suspected that this form resembles the appearance of someone or something the fairy or the faemage has a strong interest in. But sometimes a fairy may also take the form of the faemage himself. Serenity thought, does this mean that the fairy made a deal with a faemage, and the fact that it took Lord Abel's form? Then she started reading about faemages. They are existing gifted individuals who naturally attract the fairies, so they are able to spot and make deals with the fairies to borrow their power. In addition, certain individuals with strong divine power can sense a fairy's presence to a certain extent even if they are not faemages. Once the faemage ability is awakened, the faemages usually die before they turn 30. Next scene, Serenity thought, this can't be. This won't do. She need to get rid of this stupid brand first in order to think clearly. After that, the Duke stated, chicken, put it on the table and leave. Serenity replied, what did he say? She did not hear him. The Duke asked, she have been having fun ignoring him for the past few days, so why does her face look like that? Serenity replied, she have not been ignoring him. He know how much she care about him. She even brought this herself because she heard he have not had dinner yet. She thought it was her chance for physical contact with him. His Grace, could he have a look at this bracelet? The Duke asked, what happened? Serenity replied, she have not been feeling well lately, so she keep touching this, but strangely she feels some kind of pain in her right hand. The Duke spoke, let him see, she thought, that's right, it hurts as it did last time too. The Duke said, there is nothing wrong with the magic stone, but she said it hurts. We need to find out if there is anything else wrong. Serenity replied, no, she feel fine now that he have touched it. She was worried she might have accidentally broken it, so she is glad it's okay. Now that she think about it, she did sleep on her hand last night. That must be why it hurt for a while. She wasted his time for nothing. She will take her leave now. As she was going back, the Duke came and spoke, wait. Serenity thought, he is so close that she can feel his breath. The Duke stated, if she avoid him like that again, he is going to decrease her salary. Don't forget the morning greeting. The next day, the Duke thought, where did she go, leaving his mother behind? She was definitely here this morning. LA spoke. It looks like Serenity had something to take care of at home. She sent her away and told her to have dinner with her family. The Duke asked, take care of what? LA replied, she is not sure. He should never expect someone to understand without a proper explanation. She is sure she will understand without her saying anything. She has done so much, so why has she not noticed? There is nothing more pointless than such thoughts. The Duke asked, why is she telling him this? LA replied, because his father was just like that. She hoped that he don't resemble him in that way. The Duke spoke, at the very least, he don't plan on resembling his womanizing nature. LA stated, yes, she is sure he will do fine. So could he please stop tormenting Serenity? The Duke asked, why would he torment her attendant's mother? LA replied, exactly, if he were not tormenting her attendant, then why were he grumbling and nitpicking her work? That child seems to have enough to worry about already, so stop troubling her. If he is unhappy about something, don't be mean and just talk to her. LA thought she couldn't believe she got to have a conversation like this with Aaron. She really believed that they were truly blessed. After some time, Gilly said Duke wanted him to investigate Caleb. The Duke thought if something happened at her home, that man must be behind it, and replied, yes, see what he has been up to. Find out everything, even if it does not seem significant. Suddenly, the Duke said, wait, Gilly spoke. The wiretapping magic item is reacting. Does this mean the prefect is in contact with someone outside right now? The Duke stated, it's toward the direction of Hestia. Then a voice came. The attendant went outside the Duke's castle. Another woman's voice asked, was she with anyone? Gilly thought it was a woman's voice. Could it be Lady Hestia? The other person replied, only the coachman. The woman spoke, good. There is someone who wants that attendant. She is sending someone, so stay put. Suddenly, the Duke was running away. On the other hand, Serenity thought she asked Reynard about their father. Reynard replied, father has changed. He does not cause trouble anymore like before, and it feels different. Serenity told him, don't trust our father. She saw him being kicked out of the pub. Reynard replied, he don't trust him, but he thinks something is different this time. Serenity thought it didn't seem like that man would ever change, so why now? Suddenly she thought, what is going on? Coachman Will asked, who are they? The person replied, give them the woman inside the carriage, then they will let him live. Will shouted, miss, hang tight. Serenity thought, but why her? Why is everyone doing this to her? She is just a normal attendant. Then she thought, is Coachman Will in danger because of her? Suddenly, she thought, help, somebody please save her, as she crashed into the carriage wall. The Duke thought, where is she? He did not see her on his way here, but they said she already left. Just where is she? Then he heard, help her, please save her, your grace. The Duke saw those idiots and thought, so these bastards are the ones. Serenity couldn't remember what she was doing just now. The Duke came and hugged her, then said, it's okay. Don't cry. How dare these bastards harm her? Let's get out of here first. Don't worry. There isn't anyone out here. He took care of all of them. Serenity asked, what about Will? Then Will replied, he is fine. The Duke stated, his knights will arrive soon, so he can rest a bit. Let's go home, Serenity. The next day, the Duke spoke, no, don't get up. How did he feel? Will replied, except for an ache in his arm, he is perfectly fine. The Duke said, thanks for protecting her until he got there. Will replied, of course, thank you, and thought he couldn't believe the Duke was thanking him. Then he said, your grace, something strange happened yesterday. That was probably why he was unharmed when he were attacked. He swore he saw the attacker swing his sword toward him head. So he instinctively closed his eyes, but he felt something block the sword. Yet there was nothing in the air. It happened so quickly that he thought he was mistaken, but the sword slipped in midair. It definitely looked like something made it slip. That's the only reason why his arm was sliced instead of his neck. The Duke thought, as if someone used protective power. On the other hand, the butler spoke. He is sorry, but the Duke has banned anyone from entering this palace, except for those belonging to the main building. Abel asked, please let him in, he must see Serenity. The Duke came and asked, who do he think he is? Lowell is already taking care of her, so why must he see her? Abel replied, he didn't know Serenity at all. If she is not well, he should be seeing her, not Lowell. The Duke asked, that's why he is asking him, who do he think he is? Stop being greedy and give his mother the message. She caused this incident by bringing garbage into his castle, so if something like this happens again, he will treat her like one. Abel thought he had never coveted titles in the past, but if he held a higher position then. Next scene, Serenity woke up and thought, what time is it? How long have she been asleep? She remembered falling back asleep after the Duke told her to rest yesterday. Wait, did she sleep for a whole day? Even when she sleep in, she have never slept past noon before. Then she saw herself in the mirror and remembered when the Duke said, let's go home. After that, the Duke asked, he told him to rest, so why did she get up? Serenity replied, that was yesterday, she rested a whole day, so she need to get back to work. By the way, did he not sleep well? The Duke thought about the night one person they captured had a mark on his body. Then he said, it looks like these disgusting fools have been having fun together. Then the Duke replied, no, he didn't sleep well, she should know that she is half the reason. Serenity asked, why her? The Duke replied, none of her business. After that, the Duke thought, why is everyone who is involved with her causing so much trouble? The Duke asked, how is Theophano doing? Gilly replied, He is apparently able to talk now. Then the Duke asked. He heard that he got beaten up while trying to get back the money he lost to a group of swindlers. Has he finally come to his senses after his daughter left home? Make a list of the bastards who took his money and give it to Gilead. He will take care of it. He need to ask him something.